The way you move, really wanna get with you. Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove.
It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Rubbing Minds. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendo. It's our first show in the month of February, the month when Nigerians are going to vote, go out and decide who's going to take over government or retain government. We have two massive elections coming up on the 14th and the 28th for governorship, presidential, and of course the state and federal houses of assembly. It's going to be a very interesting month. Hopefully at the end of February, we're going to be smiling. A lot of people are very worried as to how things are going to shape up when all of these things eventually happen. I mean, there's a lot of threats flying all over the place. People are making statements. The politics is pretty heated up right now. And of course, it's more interesting, I think, than bad for a lot of people. I mean, the adverts in newspapers have been very hilarious for a lot of people. You buy newspapers these days and it's all comedy all through the way. But something that's not comedy, of course, is the fact that Boko Haram is still very much around with us. I have been saying before we got up to this year that I figured that politics was going to be a big distraction from security, and it looks like that's really happening. We woke up today to alleged attacks in Borno State again. We hear Boko Haram, members of the Boko Haram sect try to take over a few more towns there. I don't know what the situation is right now, so I'm not going to speak further on that. But the fact that we still hear Boko Haram this intensely, I mean, it does show that we've not made any progress at all. And it is a big issue in these elections. A lot of people are going to be voting, I think, based on whoever they believe will do better on that front. We don't know what that means for a lot of people, but the fact is that security is our biggest problem today, and politics right now seems to be shadowing that, unfortunately. But hopefully at the end of February, we can focus back on things again and reclaim Nigeria as it should be. We're going to kick off the show right now with our Road to 2015 elections like we've been doing, and I have two special guests in the house. We're going to be talking all things politics and all things politicians. I have here with me Bola Dale Adekoya. Thanks for being here today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And of course, Tokpe Atiba. Very welcome.
It's always a pleasure, Ebuka.
Yeah. I want to start with the debates now. I think it's something that has probably been one of the most talked about things this week, actually, with the candidates of the All Progressives Congress, General Buhari, where he says he will not attend the debate which has been organized by the National, I can't remember what their name is called now, debating group. Yeah, debating group. And of course, it's supposed to be a body of the Broadcasters Organization of Nigeria for all broadcasters and all of that. But he does feel, at least here in his party, feel like it's going to be a bit biased against them. Do you think he has any valid reasons not to be at that debate?
First and foremost, I think from the press release from the press statement from his campaign organization, I think from what they've highlighted, there seems to be a glimpse of issue from what they've highlighted. But however, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's something that is so genuine enough to cancel a whole debate. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria where Nigerians will actually be looking forward to issue-based campaign. We want to ask questions. There are questions that we need to ask on security, on unemployment. These are issues. We don't want the normal campaign promises of roads, foods, and no. People want to ask questions, like Soludo said. People want to ask questions that has naira and kobo. They want to know how you want to do these things. So if you are telling me because some group of individuals or some organization that you feel are biased are part of it, fine. It's a good excuse. But however, I don't think it is enough to dash the hope of Nigeria, especially when debate is concerned. What you can actually do is this. You can actually give room. You can say, okay, this is a condition. Okay, let's say there's an organization that is on ground and we feel it's biased, this and that. We also want to include these organizations that are not biased. Change the panel, the panelists. Let's have this. Make suggestions. But you cannot just wake up one morning and if you are, no, we are not. It is not done anyway. It is not. I feel it is wrong. Very, very wrong.
We're going to come to Soludo, which you mentioned there at some point much later. But we're still talking about the debate, okay? I mean, I think he makes a very valid point here, because the truth is that it's going to be a live debate. Questions are going to be asked. If any bias is sensed, I think all of Nigeria will see that. I want to believe.
With all sense of responsibility, I think that General Buhari withdrawing from that debate must have been well considered. In the sense that, one, if you remember in 2011, there were a couple of debates. There was this same debate organized by BON. There was also the one by NN24, and I think there was another one by something, the youth. Yeah. General Buhari attended two of the debates or I think it was at 1, the NN24. I remember watching that one where he debated Shakaru and Nuhu Ribadu. Very intelligent man, you know. I don't think that General Buhari is shying away from a debate. What they have said is that he will not be attending the debate organized by BON, and for obvious reasons. The last one was attended by Goodluck Jonathan alone, if you remember, and he debated himself.
That was because Buhari refused to attend.
And all the other candidates. Why? Because it wasn't a level playing field. And why do we debate?
But dude,
no, excuse me, please. What is the essence of the debate if the umpire really is
but
not...
the Broadcasters Organization of Nigeria is not made up of government organizations.
Thank you. Now,
isn't it a coalition of broadcast houses?
You see,
there is a question I want to ask him. INEC is an organization. Is an agency under the federal government. Even the chairman is appointed by the president. Okay, if you're talking about bias, then since the president is appointed the INEC chairman, why don't you say you're not going to contest?
Conversely, I think what you should say is that more, like you said before, more organizations, more news agencies should be included on the panel. 1 or 2, the president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, should attend the other debates. This is not the only debate that is going to come.
I actually saw a headline in the paper
there are other debates.
Mr. President has said that he will attend whatever debate, even if the APC organizes it. Which
fine.
Means he shows that he's not necessarily
I said
worried
that,
about anything.
I said all that, you know, to say that if at the end of the day the APC would still reconsider it, I think it will be a sign and a show of strength, of more strength on their part if they attend it. But if they don't attend, there are other debates really that it's really not the biggest issue.
Well, still talking about debates, I know I did see in the papers as well today that there's one going to be organized by channels and a coalition of other people on the 3rd of this month, which is, I think, on Tuesday. Talking about debates, are debates really that important? Do you think they actually will have an effect eventually on how the voters vote? Debates
are very important. You see, particularly in Nigeria, where what we've heard from both sides for now is, let us continue transformation on one hand, and then on the other hand, you're hearing, we will change this, we will do this. But people want to know the how, the nitty-gritty of how you intend to do these things. I will remember clearly in 2011, because that is the only reference point we have for now in Nigeria. I remember clearly in 2011, Shakaru then was the underdog. But when he came on, I think all the votes he got, or most of the votes he got, must be attributable to the debate, because it was really outstanding. And then I wasn't even supporting him. So what happens is that when you come out, people that have not formed their opinion yet, the undecided, and unfortunately, when you talk of undecideds in Nigeria, that bracket really covers people that are in the middle class. Because trust me, the guys in the grassroots, most of them are decided. Right now, for them, it's a done deal. They know who they are voting for. But the undecided are the guys that really want to hear, okay, what is your argument? What do you want to do? How do you intend to do it? Don't tell me, I'm going to do this. How do you intend to do this? You get, so that is really the effect of debates. And also, you know, you've seen it outside Nigeria. People like Obama coming from a disadvantaged point due to the color of his skin, but due to his power of oratory and, you know, his clear-mindedness on issues and how he intends to tackle different issues, you know, he warmed himself into the hearts of people. So I think that debates, 1, for you to be able to pass your message, 2, to develop, you know, it's also a sign that our democracy is developing. It's transcending that, you know, that if I may borrow the stomach infrastructure into issue-based, you know. Yeah, well,
I am definitely looking forward to them. At least it looks like we might have at least 2 debates. Hopefully they all show up for both of them. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But you mentioned Soludo. Now let's talk about Soludo and his now very famous article which he wrote, which has gotten so many replies. And interestingly, replies from the PDP have been mostly negative towards it. From the APC has been mostly positive. Is that not interesting? Who do you think is replying rightly, if I may use that word?
Well, I think the major issue is this. Soludo wrote an article, very beautiful one. I actually read it, though it was a very long thesis. However,
it was really long.
I think he raised some vital points. Opposition had to respond as an opposition because most of what he raised actually politically favors them. So they had to, it's normal. PDP actually had to respond also because most of what he raised also was questioning the integrity of the party and the capability of the president and also his economic team. So from the response of the PDP, I will not base. I'm not going to base the analysis on what Fani Kayode wrote. That is a. But I'm going to base it on what Okonjo-Iweala wrote, which looks more like what Sanusi was trying to bring up. And I think from what Okonjo wrote, she analyzed and reanalyzed most of the points he raised. And she actually made us see that even the so-called Soludo, it might probably look personal, but look at the so-called Soludo also has contributed negatively to the economy of Nigeria. Some of his steps or missteps actually brought us to where we are presently. So you can't just dump the whole thing on the government because you feel, oh, okay, I'm no longer in the system. And for someone that claimed to be non-partisan and has contested the political position in Anambra State twice and lost, definitely I don't see the non-partisan question here. But I think that from what he has written, some of them are logical, like the Naira and Kobo Nenu campaign. I think he dealt with APC, one of the APC's promise of 15,000 naira, 10,000 to unemployed Nigerian youth, and he said, okay, this is going to boil down to like 3 trillion or something. Then how are you going to fund that? Because the question of how, which we have been asking for so long, we want to curb corruption and the rest. That is the question now that he is asking. There should be financial implication to any promise you are making, just like it is done everywhere in the world.
But were you satisfied with the Minister of the Economy's reply?
Well, I think she took it a bit personal, one, and she did a
well, in
job.
fairness to her, Soludo's letter
was also personal. It was also personal. So, well, I think what she wrote at the end of the day was she was just doing her job because the bulk of the economy stops at her table, you know. And, well, these things, we've heard them before, the challenges of the crude oil prices and all these things that the government necessarily doesn't have control over. There are indices that are at play on a global scale. But I think you've made some allusion to how the APC intends to fund certain things. Of course, I'm not a spokesperson for the APC, but I remember that former Governor Fayemi also wrote a piece in response to what Chukwuma Soludo said, which was also very negative to the APC because he criticized all or most of their economic policies, and he even mentioned that their campaign document doesn't have the sign of naira or dollar or anything in it. So how do you really, what is the logic behind everything that you've said? And Fayemi said that if you look at the APC states, some of these things that we have promised, for example, feeding school children, it's already been done. Paying a stipend to a group of people, like what he was doing in Ekiti before he left. These things are already being done, and that if you block some loopholes, probably there might be some more liquidity to finance these things. I think at the end of the day, Soludo raised valid issues, and these are the things that Nigerians now should look at, and we should move away from the petty issues of this person went to school, adverts and all those things. Let's really look at it. How do you want to fight Boko Haram? How do you want to fix the economy? Considering the fact that you are, if you win, you're inheriting a very, very bad pause. You understand? So I think on both sides they responded. It's fair.
Unfortunately, we can't go on. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the PVC collection and all of that, but we'll have to go now. Thank you very much, guys. We're all looking forward to February 14th, I think. Very interesting Valentine's Day to be in Nigeria. Hopefully, it all goes peacefully.
Sure thing.
We'll take a quick break now, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.